Okay, we have a few more modifications done. I've put a proper power supply in. This one will take that's a 12 volt supply, 30 amp, 3 DC outputs. One will be for the signals and the other for the scenery, and then we've got a 9 volt scenery which will come from there into this adapter. If I can focus on it, there we are, into that adapter, comes in there and comes out there, so that'll go into the control box up the top. Then we've got another one here which is 240 volt AC to 5 volt DC. I've got to make an adapter on that one to go up to 6 volt DC. So there's the connections there, that's the AC connections which have got to be covered. And this here, that, if I can focus on it, where are we? I've lost it. There we are. That's going to be for another Digitrax UP5 which will go in up in there. Lost it again. Which will go in about there, which will complement the one that we've got over here. Oops, I'm having trouble focusing on this one. There it is in there, so that'll be. And the second modification is here, up above here, is the turntable. And I was having trouble coming onto the turntable. As soon as it hit the turntable, it put a short on, so I've now put in an AR1, the Digitrax AR1, to get rid of that. Those two sets of wires there is the wires from the track, and those two there are the ones that go to the tracks on the turntable. So that's getting that fixed up. And round here, this is the control box for the lighting, scenery lighting, etc. I'm modifying this, so I've consequently had to remove some of the connectors. There's the main supply ones down in there. That's it. Guy riding around on a little monkey bike out there with his son on the front of it. And then going to take this piece out and put a longer piece in up to there, which will be the enlarged panel for the all the lighting for the controls. Consequently have to take out some of the cables, and this is the over here. That's the new panel. Got the drawings marked out onto that. I've got to drill the holes in that. Hopefully, I'm hoping to put a DC voltmeter and amp meter in there and a changeover switch so that I can monitor the 3 inputs on it, which is the 12 volt DC, 9 volt DC, 6 volt DC, and there'll be 3 indicating LEDs down there, or maybe 1 tri-LED. Oh, he's back again. And that'll be the selector switch to select it. So that's what's happening with this at the moment. There's not much else to be done at the moment until I get that panel fixed around the front here. Get that done and I can get that new panel on. So, pardon me, Hawthorne Valley won't be running for a little while yet until I get these pieces sorted out, and still in the process of cleaning up all the tracks, etc. So that's all that is for this for the moment. I don't know whether I'll get this up on its own video or whether it'll be combined with another video later on, which will include all these changes. But in the meantime, I'll get on with it and see how we go. I was now entering the third week of January, and just to show you what's happened, I have now inserted another power supply into the system. I'll explain later why the extra one. This is a 12 volt 240 to 5 volt DC. Sorry, this is the 12 volt DC, and then it feeds back to the 12 volt to, hang on, I'm sort of filming this with it without the board being raised up. That's the converter to go from 12 volt to the 9 volt. I'll explain the reasons for that in just a moment, but that's just one of the extras. That's the extra transformer, sorry, the extra power supply that I have inserted. This is getting a bit awkward because I'm filming this underneath the board without the board being raised up, and it's a bit awkward focusing on what I'm supposed to be doing. Okay, just to explain what's going on here, and I apologise for the noises outside as it's the traffic going past, but I've had to put the garage door up. It's about 33-34 degrees here today, so it's a bit hot not to have the door up. Okay, what you see here are covers over the control panels. The reason for this is that when I've been working on the panels, particularly this one, I keep putting the tools on the other panels and all onto the switches, which over time I think is going to cause me problems. So what I've done, I've made up these covers which go over the, and just to remove it, and there is our lighting and structures, sorry, Stuctures and Scenics lighting panel, and modified with these new voltmeters. Okay, there's the voltmeter. I've got to make adjustments on the 5 volt, it's just slightly lower. The 9 volts okay, the 12 volts okay. And one of the reasons why I put these meters in, because certain of the lights, including these ones, there's a 1, 2, 3, there's 4 of those, they're incandescent. As well as over the back here, there's that one, the next one along, the next one along, and over the other side there's more, and the same on this other panel up there, right up to this point here. They're incandescent as well. Now I was having problems with the loading on the power supplies. So this is what happens when I switch on the 12 volt. So there's the amps coming up. It's about half an amp those incandescents are drawing, but as soon as I turn the switch off, it drops down to 0. So all the LEDs and that on it are working the way they should. There's not much load coming out of it, except I've also got it set up on the 9 volt. Now if we turn them on, I've got to focus, there we are. There's the ones on the 9 volt, I'll just switch it off again. So there's the 9 volt ones, but the 9 volt meter, oh yes it is now working, it's now 0.1 of an amp. I haven't got any of those incandescents on the 5 volt. I've got to make adjustments underneath for the 5 volt ones. Turning all the 5 volt ones on, the voltage doesn't drop. So that's that. Now I'll just turn these off for the moment. Now as we lift up the panel, there is our panel now as it's finally wired. These 2 wires here, which are these ones, they're in the temporary setup at the moment, and I've put these 3 current shunts on the voltmeters. Now to explain the reason why I put the extra power supply in, because originally the 9 volt was coming out of the big power supply, which was the 30 amp one. There's 3 outputs, 3 DC outputs, but they use a common negative, a black wire, and this setup wouldn't have worked if I'd had the black wire connected as a common. So what I did, I bought the extra power supply, convert the 12 volt down to 9 volt, and then wired them in there. So this one here, you've got the 6, the 9 and the 12, and the red and the green and yellow wires go back to the meters. So I think I've finally got all this sorted out, which is great. I just realised that now the 9 volt one's coming on, and they weren't doing that before. But my intention is to replace these incandescents with LEDs. So hopefully we won't have a problem, but I still just like them there as an indication of what's going on. Okay, that's that panel. Now if we just turn these two switches off, replace its cover. That's near enough. And we remove this one, and this is the new panel that made up. It doesn't look different, but it is. I've just done that in there. It's practically the same as before, but as I said earlier in the video, I've cut back this wire which came up to here, cut it back to there, which is that one there. That's cut back, and then added provision for an extra switch in there. And on that earlier video it showed just the 4 centre pop holes on here. These have been drilled out, and this is put on here for future use. Everything else is the same here. All the switches went back perfectly. I still think I've got some broken connections on this, but I'll fix that up later. But that's the panel, and everything is now sort of working the way I want it to. And of course there's the Digitrax control panel, controller. And if I shift that, and there's been no alterations made to this panel, so that's just put new labels etc. on. But that's that panel there. There's the turntable control, all the points and all the signals in this area up here. Signals on there, and the one up the far end, and that one, and there's one over there, are now all controlled from this panel. I've just got to make some modifications on here for when the amber lights come on, but pardon me, but that is the setup now. So I'm happy now I've got all the electricals done, and I'm hoping that over the next couple of weeks, depending on the weather, how hot it's going to get out here in the garage. As I said, it's 33, 34 today. It's a little bit warm. It's not like some parts of Victoria at the moment. Up the north I'm expecting 46 degrees today. So yeah, lucky we're down here where we get a little bit of sea breeze during the day. So we'll put this one back on here. Oh, and one other little notice here is I've got a list of the locos and their DCC number, which you can see there, which each one is, and the colour, so that helps them remember easily. I'll put this cover back on. And then on this one we do have what the each particular and there, that's the I'll go out of the way, you. That's what each switch controls. The 12 volt, the 9 volt and the 5 volt. So that's the way it's set up at the moment. As I said, I've just got to alter the voltages on these now. They're a little bit low. That one's okay. It does drop the volts down when those incandescents come on, but if I turn them off, it jumps back up again. So I think I will definitely go ahead and replace those incandescents with LEDs. I've ordered a set for here, and there's the you see all those incandescents in there. The platform lighting, there's that one, that one, that one, that one there, another one there, another one over there, another two there, and along there. So I think I will replace those with LEDs, and you can see here, I think I may have shown this before, but if we go into the engine shed, just adjust the camera to get in, and you can see inside the shed, and with the pit lights, it looks very effective, especially when there's some locos in there and a couple of carriages. So that's the layout as it stands now. It's the 15th of January, so hopefully I can now get on and clean up the rest of this. I won't say what I think it is, but it's a 4-letter word. But, yeah, so get all that done, and then hopefully I can start organising some running of the trains. The only thing I'm still got to work out is over here to fill in that section of this bit up the top and the tunnel. So I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do that yet. I've got some flexible styrene sheet which I thought I might sort of put in like that, but I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do there yet. I'll need access to get in there if anything goes wrong, so I'll just have to work on that. So that's about it for the moment. Over the back there, that styrene sheet, that's over the top of the tunnels. There's going to be a little mountain up there. I'm thinking of relocating the church, which is over there, and putting it, or a new one which I've got the design for, up on the hill. So we'll see what happens, because it's sort of a bit awkward having a train running around past a church, especially if there's services on a Sunday morning and there's a couple of trains going through. So I'll probably shift that and put it up the top. That old coach sitting on the bridge over there, that's an old Hornby restaurant car. I'm not quite sure, I think it is a little bit too big for the layout, but I've painting the bodywork for that at the moment, so that's why it hasn't got its cover on it. So that's about it now for this video. I'll get this sorted out, edited, and put up on YouTube as soon as I can. So until next time, and I hope it's not too long between videos, I'll say goodbye. One thing I forgot to mention before was the hand control. It's a DT400. I'm trying to get another second-hand one, but eBay doesn't seem to have them. They all seem to have the new one, the DT500, which is a bit out of my price range at the moment, so I'm still hoping I can get one of these off eBay. That's the cable on it, and that's the extension cables. These are to fit in with the plugs that I've got on the back and the side of the layout. There's that one there, and the other one, and that's the other one. So that means I don't have to move all around the board and have cables hanging over the board to work it, and it'll help my grandson when he's using it. So I thought I'd just add this on to the end, and I think that's about all for now. So goodbye until next time.